Everyone, a warm welcome, Mike Rose. Put your hands together, please.
Hey everyone, thank you. We'll see if we can get the slides up. It's not that really that big of a deal. I don't have that long to talk, just kind of jumping up here to let you know who I am and what I do. But I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Intuitive IQ, and we help train people for life, if you can imagine that anybody would even do that. But that's the misbelief that we've been brought up with in our lives, is that we don't need to train for life. We need to train for our sports teams, and we have coaches for that, and we need to train for school. We need to train for our SATs. We need to study to be lawyers and doctors, but we don't actually need to train for our life, to be healthy and to be successful. So that's what Intuitive IQ has done. We've developed a program which helps train people to be healthy and be successful in their individual lives. And we do that using what I call the 4 fundamentals of success. And I believe that these are really core to our ability to be healthy and to be successful in life. And that's positive emotions and positive perception, and healed past traumatic experiences, and also healthy boundaries in our interpersonal relationships. And I would just like you to just all think for a second and just kind of let that sink in. If you could ask yourself, what would my life be like if I lived in positive emotions all the time? The emotion of passion, of love, of gratitude, of empowerment, of freedom. What would my life be like if I perceived everything positively? If I walked around this conference and I expected every single person that I met to be somebody that I cared about, and that was a beautiful, wonderful, talented person that I wanted to meet and that I want to learn from. And how would you feel if whatever bad things have happened to you in your life, growing up in your family, maybe you grew up in a war zone, we all have our stuff. If you had a method or methods for healing those wounds so that they were no longer affecting you in your daily life. And lastly, if you establish for yourself some very clear boundaries so that in all of your interpersonal relationships, if anyone were to cross those boundaries, yell at you, put you down, do things that really hurt us and hurt our self-confidence and make us feel bad. If you had a way of establishing what your boundaries were so you could make sure that every single person in your life dealt with you with respect, and you can always maintain your dignity and your integrity in life. So I don't have a long time talking up here. I'll let you guys think about how those aspects of your life would benefit you. I don't have my slide to put up, but increased intelligence, increased performance, peace of mind, great relationships. The list just goes on and on. What basically happens when you start living in positive emotions is it actually heals your body. When you start living with positive perception and you get the negative thoughts out of your head and all your thoughts become positive, it actually heals your body and it heals your mind. When you heal your past traumatic experiences, it heals your body and it heals your mind. And when you establish that dignity for yourself in all of your relationships and make sure that everyone deal with you within your boundaries that you've established for yourself, it heals your body and it heals your mind. I'm not going to do my whole presentation, but I'm just going to leave that up there. And essentially, that's what we do at Intuitive IQ. That's what it's designed to do, is to basically get the mind to function at its highest level. And I've come to believe, and I've learned through my research, and I've certainly proved it through all the experiments that I've done on myself, which is what I was going to talk about here, kind of a little Tim Ferriss deal. But basically, what working on these things does is it frees up the tension in your body. It basically gets the negative thoughts out of your head, and that's, of course, why my company is called Intuitive IQ. It gets you connected to your intuition, your knowing of what's right and what should be, And when you tap into that, and when you really lock into it, you just wouldn't believe what you can achieve. I had a slide up here, which is basically, I used an example of, imagine that you are a train, and there is a giant brick on the brake pedal. And basically, we are all somewhere between having our foot off the brake and our foot slammed down on the accelerator to just having a giant brick on the brake pedal and not being able to move. So some of us are stuck in the station and we just can't get started. We can't do anything. And some of us are moving down the tracks, decent pace, but maybe we're not accomplishing everything that we want to. And then some of us are just like a TGV going 120 miles from city to city, knocking things off, getting stuff done, and just accomplishing incredible things in our lives, meeting amazing people everywhere we go, and it's just everything gets blown wide open at that point. So anyway, I don't have a lot of time up here. I think that's basically it. I'd like to take a couple questions until they kick me out, and so I think we'll just open it up to Q&A. Does anyone have any questions based on what I have said? Yes?
Do you need some sort of mantra or internal words in order to have the positive thoughts and actually have it manifest in some sort of physical cleansing?
I do have a positive perception method that I use. Basically, if I'm viewing something positive, negatively, let's say even an event like this, and I'm coming here to speak and I'm terrified because it's going to go wrong and everyone's going to hate me and they're going to boo me off the stage and throw tomatoes at me, right? That, basically I have a way of taking a look at that situation, asking myself, okay, let me consider for a minute that I go there and this is the greatest speech I have ever given and everybody loves me and this turns out really well. What would that look like? And why is that going to happen? That's really what you need to figure out. You need to figure out why it's going to be great rather than focusing on why it's going to be bad. So that's a positive perception method, but it all ties together. You have to be in positive emotions to be able to discover that, because if you're living in fear and depression and hopelessness and stuff, it's actually very hard to do the positive perception method. So you have to first do an exercise to get yourself in positive emotions, and I have mine, but that might just be turning on your best music and dancing for 10 minutes to something real happy. So there's a lot of different ways. We done?
No, it just meant louder. Hold the microphone.
Oh. Oh, cool. We got one more minute. Does that answer your question okay? All right, cool. Any other questions? Positive perception, positive emotions, healing past traumatic experiences, boundaries? Yes. Okay.
Do you ever worry about problems of, say, optimism bias or just having an unrealistic view of the world as a result of this?
Well, if I would have done my full presentation, you would have found out that I'm bipolar. And so if you want to have a conversation with my wife sitting on your left over there, she'll explain to you that I'm not always this person. But it's a matter of ingraining this person into me so that when I fall into negative emotions, when I fall into negative perception, I've built that core of this person, which is who I want to be, so that I pretty quickly return to that. And then I also have methods that get me there. All right? Thank you very much. Thank you, Bill. This is an amazing conference. Thank you, everybody.